Good evening. I wanted to come in here, give a small, quick evaluation of today's preseason game. Obviously, the big talk around the New York metropolitan area is Daniel Jones. Nothing new. Check it out. We'll go straight to it, man. Daniel Jones' is first pass out of the end zone being rushed is a terrible pass. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's one of the worst decisions, not passes, one of the worst decisions I've seen in a long time. 6 years in the league, you got to know, as a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, you got to know that if nobody's open and you don't have the ability to get that ball close to someone's feet or throw it away out of bounds, and if you're in the pocket and you throw it away to nobody, it's going to be called a safety. You swallow the ball and you take the safety. I'm sorry, you can't throw a pick six on the 2 or 3 yard line. You got to take the safety. You don't like to take a safety, I get it, and you're taught not to get sacked in the end zone. But this type of shit happens, and you're going to have to take the safety. You can't be throwing away the ball like that. Like, that ball in no way in the world can be just thrown into the flat in the air like that. So, we'll throw that out. You know, I know a lot of the people that are not Jones fans are going to use that as a major weapon. Look, man, it's preseason. The deep pass down the sideline. All right, there's 2 aspects to this interception. Number 1, Jones has to get that ball high. I played quarterback for years when I was younger. You got to arc that ball higher. That ball needs to come very high and deep. Okay? So either the receiver gets led deep on a real high ball that the corner is going to find a real hard time finding coming out of the air. They're going to be too worried about tackling the receiver and not letting him break away for a touchdown rather than having an opportunity to turn around and pick the ball off. That ball was thrown really hard but low, sort of like a line drive. Okay? That's mistake number 1. So the trajectory of the pass was wrong. That's on Jones. Hyatt cannot allow the corner to get in front of him on that. Hyatt has to do a better job of getting his hands on the ball and running the route. He's going deep up the sideline, a little bit inside in the seam, up against between seam and sideline. You cannot allow the corner to get inside of you. You cannot allow the corner to push you, so to speak, out towards the sideline and get the better position inside to pick that ball off. That can't happen. And if you are not able to get to the ball, whatever it is, you lost the ground, the corner got inside on you, he's long, he got long arms. There is no reason why Hyatt can't get his hand on the ball and knock it down. You are taught, if you can't catch the ball, turn into a defender. So these are things Hyatt's going to learn. He's young. He's working on his routes, and I'm pretty sure him and Eli will get better together as the year goes on. Look, Neighbors dropped a dime of a ball. Nobody's talking about it. Neighbors, he's a rookie. He hasn't even played a regular season game yet. But Jones put the ball right on the money. And the people that hate Jones, they don't talk about that. They don't bring that up. They're not fair in their argument. I'm trying to be balanced here. Jones is capable of much better, and he's got to show more. You can't come out the gate in the first quarter and do that. You can't throw a pick six like that, put your team, behind the 8 ball. But, it's not a regular season game. It is a preseason game. It's only a preseason game. It's the first time Jones has been on the field in almost a year. So there's going to be a little rust. The timing is not all there with the receivers yet. I don't care. They look great in camp. We all raving, beautiful bombs, this and that. Different story when you're playing an NFL game. It's going to take, it's going to take a game or two. It's going to take, for them to get on the right page with the chemistry. You like that? The O-line looks pretty damn good. We're going to have a much improved O-line. It's really looking that way. And there's no way Jones and the receivers don't play much better football this year over the last bunch of years when you're going to have a real O-line and protection. You want to see the run game also. But look, man. You can't just evaluate Daniel Jones and say, oh, he's garbage, he's trash, I'm going to give him an F. But then you don't want to evaluate the rest of the offense and how they played. You know? Receivers ran a couple wrong routes. Hyatt didn't do what he was supposed to do on a deep pass. Neighbors dropped a big ball, right? Down the sideline. I believe it was a perfect pass. I mean, you know, Texans are a real good team. Well, I'm not making excuses. I'm just bringing up aspects to the game. Yo, this is the game. A game is a puzzle, man. You got to put the pieces together. It can't all be one person. If you're not fairly evaluating Jones, you want to hate on the guy, give him an F, and you don't talk about the other players on the field, the tight end, the running back, the receivers, the O-line. Yo, evaluate the team fairly. It can't always just be Jones, 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 Jones. I understand there are a lot of fans out there that's had enough of Jones. Year 6, they really wanted to move on in this past draft, and it just didn't formulate, you know? And if things don't work this year, they will get a QB in next year's draft. Stop being worried, oh, they're going to win 7 games and they're not going to be good enough to be a playoff team, but they're not going to be good enough to get a quarterback. You know, that's fucking nonsense and bullshit. Let the GM do what he does. You're a fan, man. All right? There ain't no 1 million GMs across New York. There's only one. I mean, today was a preseason game up against a team that is considered Super Bowl caliber. The corner that intercepted the ball on Hyatt is a top-notch corner in the NFL. Okay? One of the best. Look. Jones better play better. Of course. And I'm a little disappointed in the beginning of that game with him because I expect more of him. But I'm going to be fair to the guy. First time on the field in a year. With a new O-line. Got himself a nice-ass star wide receiver, and you could tell that they already have a chemistry, Jones and Neighbors. I expect Hyatt and Robinson to come on. I expect Slayton to do his thing as the veteran guy. This is what I'm going to say. I'm a fair guy. Yo, I'm rooting for Jones. He's a New York football giant. No secret to everyone who knows me. I root for the Giants. I don't sit here and root for losses, especially on August 15th. Okay? That's fucking miserable. That's ridiculous. Yo. Regular season. I want to see 6 to 8 weeks of Daniel Jones with this offense and this entire defense and this Giants team as a whole with Daboll as the head coach. I want to see 6 to 8 weeks to be truly fair to this product on the field, especially to Daniel Jones. Whether you think he should be gone already or not because he's in year 6, it doesn't matter what you feel or think. It doesn't matter if you hate this guy so much that you can't sit back as a fan and root for your team and allow him a fair assessment. At least 6 weeks. It doesn't matter if you can't and you don't want to. Or you don't like his smile or his hair or his eyes are googly. You're low. Stop. Because he's the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants. And that's what it's going to be. Right? It doesn't really matter what you feel or whatever, bro. You're a fan of the Giants. And if you're so sick of it that you can't be a fan of the Giants, yo, it's a free world. You could go hop over to another team. The Jets have a lot of talent. You want to go over there, go ahead. You got the Buffalo Bills not too far up north. Yo, you know, if you wanted to ride with Barkley down to Philly, do you. Yo, but if you're a Giant fan, Daniel Jones is coming out the tunnel week 1 as your starting quarterback. That's what it is. That's who you're going to be rooting for. If you're not rooting for it, if you're rooting to go 1-16 this year, you are a pathetic soul. And you got to check yourself as a fan. I'm sorry, man. I mean, how do you get psyched up to watch the season this year? Unless you're really into fantasy and you want to watch players across the league, you could do that. That's not me, bro. I bleed for the Giants. I breathe and bleed and live for this team. And I'm going to root for whoever puts that jersey on every single time. I'm going to sit back and give Jones half a regular season to see what's up. And I'm going to be real with you. If the lights go out like they just did, then the lights go out. And we're just going to do what we got to do to move on next season, right? In the draft. But right now, we're going to week 1, and I want to be optimistic. I mean, listen to my words. I want to be optimistic. I want to be a fan. That's why I love the team. I'm a fan. I don't want to play GM. I'll play GM in February, March, and April. Right now in September, we're getting into September week 1. I'm excited. I want to be a fan. And the Giants have a must-win week 1. Because if you can't beat the Minnesota Vikings in your own home building, it's going to be a rough season. There's no guarantees like some people think going to Washington week 2 because you're going on a road. Washington's getting better. They haven't beaten us in years, and I'm pretty sure their coaching staff and management's going to make that known in that locker room leading up to that game in week 2. So I think the Washington game is going to be a lot tougher than the Minnesota game. And we're not good enough to call any game a give me. So we're going to be in a battle and a half with Vikings week 1 at home. But I think that's a must win if you want to have some type of a season. You lose that game, you're in deep trouble. It's sad to say a week 1 game is a must win. You don't see that often. It's rare. But this is one of those rare occasions where week 1 at home versus the Vikings, the Giants are in a must win. Okay? If you want to show the country and your fan base that things are changing, you better hold home serve in week 1 versus Sam Darnold. Because I think the Giants have the better defense. The Vikings may have better offense, but not with Sam Darnold. And Daniel Jones is better than him. So look, you got to show up and pull that game out. There's no reason the Giants can't win that game 20-17. My assessment of Daniel Jones, and everyone knows I root for him because he's a New York Giant. At the same time, I wanted Drake May in the draft. So I'm not somebody who is completely, insane for Daniel Jones. And anything that goes wrong is not his fault. And it's all about how great this guy could be if he had an O-line and coaches consistently over the years and system. No, that's not true. Yeah, a lot of those things played into things. But it's now, the time is here. This is the final strike. They're not even any more foul balls. I'm giving Jones a fair half a season. I'm going to watch. I'm going to see what's up. And if he holds serve for half a season, we're going to look at the second half of the season. And we all know the 6 games after week 2 are going to be the toughest 6-game stretch on the schedule. You get through there 500, you might have a pretty good second half of the season. So Daniel Jones, to you I say, show me. There are no more excuses. There's an O-line and weapons, and Dable is calling the plays, and the Giants should have a top 10 defense. They should. I'm a little worried about cornerback too. It looked ugly the first quarter today. So I think the Giants should be scouting the wires and seeing what's out there for another corner. Don't allow that to wreck a season, what could be a really good, solid, stifling defense. And that's what I'm going to say, man. It's preseason. I'm going to leave it at that. You saw some bad things today. You saw some good things today where Jones was hitting guys in stride after those 2 interceptions. He picked it up, and he did lead them on their only 2 scoring drives. Yes, it was against the backup secondary, but he led them on 2 scoring drives, and it showed an ability to forget the bad interceptions, clear it out of your mind, not let it wreck an entire half for you, and go on and play better. He did get better. The second quarter was a good quarter. That ball to Slayton was a beauty. There were a couple others across the middle. Look, real quick, there's a stud on this team. I've been talking about him for a while. Elijah Chapman is a stud and a half, and I am excited, and I hope he didn't hurt himself too bad today on the ankle or whatever it was. But I can't wait to watch this guy. As the season goes on, he will be the starter next to Dexter, and I think the Giants are going to have a force for years to come with this Chapman and Dexter in the middle. Yo, NFC East teams, beware. You don't want it. Giants got a front four that could do damage. Go find another corner and let's make this defense a big-time one. I'm excited about Chapman. Giants found themselves a stud, undrafted. This ain't no kid. This guy's a man, a beast. And he won't stop hustling, and the motor doesn't stop. He's old school. He'll get down, dirty, stuff to run. And he ran down a weapon 45 yards downfield today to save a touchdown. You don't see defensive tackles do that. None. Not Jones, not Dexter. This guy is big, he's strong, he's grimy, he's dirty, he's feisty, and he's fast. That's it. To me, it's preseason. The Jets' preseason game will be complete garbage because they're playing them in a scrimmage game during the week. So I don't think the Giants are going to show much in that preseason Jet game. I think the Jets might put Rodgers out there because he hasn't gotten any playing time, so they might put their starters out for a quarter. But the game is absolutely meaningless to me. Get me to week 1 for the Minnesota Vikings, and then we will really talk about what Jones can or cannot do. Miz at night.